Hi everybody and welcome back. Now in this lecture we're going to look at how to increment an attribute's value through a method. So there will be times when you want to increment an attribute's value by a certain amount rather than set an entirely new value. So let's say we have our e-reader and we're on the Amazon website and we buy a new ebook. So obviously our library count is going to go up by whatever number of books we've just bought. So if we have 50 books on our e-reader and we buy one, then we've got 51 books on our e-reader, or 52 or 53, depending on how much or how many ebooks we have just purchased. So let's now create a method that allows us to pass this incremental amount and add that value to our library count reading. So let's create a method now. So I have the code from our last lecture, lecture 93 I believe. And let's say def increment library count. Because that's what we're doing. We're incrementing the amount of books in our library. And we have self, as always. And we're going to be adding in a new parameter here, and that is going to be purchased ebooks. Because that's what we're doing. We're buying new ebooks. Don't forget your colon like I just did. There we go. And our comment is add our new ebooks to our library count. That being how many books Kindle shows us we have. Okay, so what do we do here? Well, we say self, and it's our library count that we're modifying. So library count, there we go, plus equals, because we're incrementing, purchased ebooks. Now, with that done, what do we do? Well, we go down here, and as we saw in the last lecture, this piece of code here sets our library count to 48. So it means that in our Kindle e-reader, we have 48 books in our library. But let's just say we've just bought 5 new ebooks. We've gone on a bit of a spending spree on Amazon and we've just bought 5 new ebooks. How do we increment that using the method that we just created? Well, we'd say my new e-reader dot increment. So increment library count. And what do we want to do? Well, we want to increment it by 5. And then we want to output our new read library count. So my new e-reader, same as just above, dot read library count. So nothing too new here. Brackets, Command and B, run this. There we go. You have 48 books in your Kindle library, which we did before we went on our spending spree. And now we have 53 books in our Kindle library. Now let's just recap. Our new method, increment library count, at line 30, takes in the number of purchased ebooks and adds this value to self.libraryCount. At line 34, as we've done all along, we create a new instance of my new e-reader. And we set that value to, at line 40, we then increment library count and pass it the value 5. So that means now, after our spending spree, we have 53 ebooks, which we can see in our output. I hope that was easy enough to understand, and as always, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next lecture.